All right, what is up, everybody, and welcome into this edition of South Florida Comedy Insiders, this show where we give you a little sneak peek into the minds behind some of South Florida's best comedians and some of the best showrunners and producers in town as well. This person does all of those things. They are a man of many trades. Before I introduce him, though, I would like to quickly introduce my co-host of the night, Art Roach. How you doing, man?
Sebastian, I'm feeling pretty good, man. I think this week's guest is the only active comedian here in South Florida with more chest hair than me. So we'll find out during the show.
Got you. I think I'm also a part of that crew too.
Boy, relax.
You know, I mean, I got a lot of chest hair. What do you mean?
Come on, when you turn 30, we'll see.
Yeah. Yours are falling out already, though. That's the problem.
Yeah. Well,
and you're putting them on your head.
They're turning gray, actually. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Well, that turkey trip is still working out, as everyone can tell. We're good, looking pretty good.
Yes, the spores are growing nicely on your head.
Exactly.
That's very good. That's very good.
Yeah, new treatment, yep.
Nice. Congratulations. Stem cell treatment.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have the guest of the week is actually someone that I really enjoy, not just watching in South Florida comedy, but hanging out with also always at the scenes and always around town. I want you guys to put your hands together and start clapping it up for my man, Tom Chamberlain.
Thank you all. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, man, dude, we've been trying to pin you down to get on the show for a little bit because you are a very in-demand dude, bro.
Oh, thank you. Just buy me dinner. Pin me down whenever.
That's what we had to do. A lot of schmoozing to get Tom here today, but for real, we it is dope to see just how much you are doing, bro. You're working with Villain, you're working with Don't Tell, you're doing your own shows, you're producing stuff, man. You're getting up yourself and getting booked everywhere. So it's really fun. And I kind of wanted to start the interview with a little bit of a look back in what got you into comedy. I mean, have you always been performing? Like when you were younger, did you like performing, or what was it about stand-up that kind of drew you into it?
I mean, I think I've always wanted to. I thought it would be like kind of behind the scenes. Like I thought it'd be like a comedy writer. Mm-hmm. Never got into it. I had like friends in high school. They'd be like, "Oh, you're gonna get on Comedy Central for something," and I just assumed that we all had to get like regular jobs and all that stuff. So I did that for a while. But then...
speak a little bit about that, because I know you have had many jobs.
I have. Yeah, I've had some careers, for sure.
That mustache has seen things.
Yes. Well, I was a teacher for like 5 years, and during that 5 years, I did not have this mustache. I don't think that's legal.
True.
Shouldn't be. If it is, it
right.
shouldn't be.
It is a red
Seriously.
flag.
Yeah. But I was a teacher for like 5 years. I did distribution for a dispensary for 3 years. That was easy money. They paid real well, and I just drove a car. I just drove weed all around the state. And then I was a commercial electrician for 2 years.
That's the part that blew me away. He had 2 different state licenses. Can you believe that?
Crazy. With that stash.
Yeah. Actually, they gave me the mustache with the
electrician.
That makes sense.
That's correct.
Yeah, it grounds the
super
the current. You know,
absolutely.
If you ever get
traps
shocked,
it in there.
Nice.
Soaks it up.
I like that, man.
Yeah.
And so, when was it then that you went from electrical work to crowd work?
That's wow. What a great riff. First of all, I had some friends from high school and a woman that I was dating at the time buy me like a certificate to take classes at Villain.
Oh, cool.
And it was like after the pandemic, and I was like, oh, like free will, like I can do whatever I want. Like I was, doing all these careers and...
shout out Villain keeping my friends from committing suicide. You know what I mean?
I might do it still. So,
well, but they did as much as they could have,
Right. But yeah, it was, I took an improv class because they bought an improv class for me and then the stand-up workshop. And so I was like, okay, like if you spend that much money, I have to do it.
Right.
I had to be pushed, forced to do it. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I don't think that I would have done it.
Yeah, guilt.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's crazy to think that, because you're one of the most like when I think about the scene in general, like you're one of those guys that's out there, right? Like to think about that you had to be pushed initially. That's crazy.
100%. And I had not done anything like theatrical or entertaining since I was in 5th grade. Like
like the school play. Or whatever.
That was it. It was like the Nutcracker or something. And I was a Russian baker number 3. Nice. So like it wasn't anything. Yeah. And then I was just really shy for like effing 15 years or something like that.
You can
fucking 15 years. Let's go. And then someone put money on the line, and then I was like, okay, I have to do it.
And so when you start going to these classes, was it weird at first? Did it take you a little bit to get into it? Like
super.
What was that learning curve? And then from there, when was your first ever set of stand-up comedy?
I guess it was because I'm hitting 3 years at the end of this month. And initially in that workshop, I think it was like the second meet of 5 meetings that I got like the first criticism on my set, and I was like, well, I quit. I'm gonna go cry.
Nice.
And I'm never coming back. And I had to just sit there for another like hour and a half and just like kind of spiral inwards with that. And then afterwards, the instructor spoke with me. It was Tarek Turgeman.
Yeah.
I love him.
He was a guest on
the show.
He's phenomenal. And he was like, didn't even remember giving me the feedback. He was just like, yeah, like take it, do it, get over it.
Yeah. It was a Tuesday for him, and it was like the most important day of your life.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
I was like, everything that I thought, is just, it crumbled. And he was like, who cares? He's like, that's how I felt about your set, but like, how do you feel about it? And everyone else could feel differently. He's like, I have to give feedback, and you're gonna get feedback. Get over it. And I kept showing up.
Nice.
So had you ever done improv before or not? That was with the class when you started? Because dude, like you seem like such a natural with improv. Like when I first saw you doing it, I think you had already either gotten to the higher levels or because like you're already like leading troops and like leading, I don't know what it's called if I'm using the right word, but like when you have like the 5 people on stage at the same time, like you're already like doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't leading. I don't think I was put in charge of leading anything because I would have shot that down immediately.
Well, I meant like
during a scene.
Yeah, like during a scene.
Oh,
exactly.
like yeah.
That you were taking charge of like an improv scene.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Taking charge. Sure. Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think improv is all about like gassing and knowing when to gas and knowing when to pump the brakes. Like you gotta fill space and then let space be filled. Giggity. It'd
be a great interview. I already know it.
and I hate improv.
Really?
I think improv is so like stupid. It's like, oh, I'm flying a kite. No, you're not. You're not. No one's flying a kite here.
Just go
you're
fly
in a theater. Go actually fly a kite.
That's hilarious
in
to me.
traffic, you loser.
You're a pretty good actor, man. Because like,
Thank
dude,
you.
you sell stuff, man. When you're up there, you look like you're having fun.
I mean, and that's that's what it really is about.
Yeah.
Is that like I'm up there for me. Like I want to have fun, and I think that when I'm having fun, that translates well to other people. I want to be inclusive. I want to bring everyone in, and I feel like if I'm having fun, everyone's having fun. One of
the things I think about all the time is like when you're on the way here, I texted you your own contact name in my phone, and it references a place that you ran a couple of shows. You ran shows at for a while, Savage Lab. So when did you finally decide like, no, I want to take this show on the road?
What's his name in your phone?
Oh, Tom's Chamberlain, Savage Lab's host.
Oh, okay.
Because that must
I
be.
thought it was like Savage.
That's
Tom.
probably when we exchanged numbers.
Right.
I was hosting and producing that show.
Exactly. So how did that? I mean, that was a cool run. I don't know how that came about, but it was one of my favorite rooms, definitely.
It came about because the owners hit me up through Instagram. They were like, "Hey, we think you're really funny. We're thinking about starting like a comedy night here, and we would love for you to like produce and host it." And I was like, spam. I don't, whatever car warranty you're offering, I don't care. And then they hit up again, and then like a second time, and then they commented on some like reels or posts. I was like, oh, these are actual people. And then I met with them, and I did that for like a year and some change. Towards the end, I was trying to give it up to some other comedians, namely Kelly Blake and Ryan Ha when he was down in Miami for those, sparing moments. Just because I think just as fun as it is going up and getting opportunities, it's also phenomenal to be able to give opportunities.
Well, I don't know if it's able to be revived, but dude, that's one of my favorite rooms. Like you did Savage Labs.
I just have Labs once, but I never did it on the stage. The one time that I did it, we were doing it on.
We were all. That was like a point of contention. It was just like I tried to like get it in one place consistently, and they was like, well, what about this, what about that? And it's just like, do you want me to produce this thing or not? Like I'm not getting paid for this, so can we at least do what like I want to do? Well, it was like always every
that
week.
Stage is huge. I mean, it's a huge stage. So it was like, for me at least, it was one of those first places. Besides, like, because Villain has like that huge stage too. So you're like, but it's different because it's almost like you grew up in. It's like a school, so you're like you don't feel as big about doing like on a school theater as when you do like at a real professional theater. You know what I mean? And I remember the first time at Savage Labs, I got to go up there and I looked out and I saw. I mean, it wasn't like a packed room, but like literally every seat was filled,
right?
And there was people everywhere you could see, and I was like, "Wait, hold on a second, this is for real.
Yeah.
We're in the heart of Wynwood. It's Thursday night. It's popping, baby. Let's go." So definitely I mean, those are definitely Savage Labs, one of the dopest places I've seen you do your thing.
Yeah, it was a very swanky place, and I had nothing to do with how swanky it was, but it was nice to be able to produce comedy there for that time. It was great.
Now you are doing Don't Tells. We were privileged to have you come and interrupt our previous segment that we were doing here with our boy Dean Rashidi. How did you get involved? I mean, I know he'd been doing it for a while, and then
actually, I had a conversation with him not too long ago. He was not, because I thought he had been doing it for a while before he brought me on, but he was like, dude, I had only been doing it for 4 months, and he was like, it was just me. And I only managed to do like 1 or 2 shows a month. So by the time that I came on, it was like maybe the 5th or 6th show.
Nice.
So when he's like, when I say you've been with me from the beginning, like you've been with me from the beginning. But shout out Dean and Brittany Brave, actually, because Brittany Brave, it has to do with personality and ability on stage. But Brittany Brave booked me for her old Garrison show in Miami Lakes.
I remember that room,
which was a great room, and she hired Dean to host it, and I just went up. It was kind of a boisterous crowd, so I just got like real silly with them, and I ripped the room. And Dean came up to grab the mic from me, and his face was just like confused. And he was like, dude, you ripped. And we dabbed it up. And afterwards he was like, come this weekend, I have a show going on.
Dope.
And then after I did the first Don't Tell show, he invited me to the following day. And then after I did the following day, he was just like, if you want, you can come to all the shows. And so we've been breaking down and setting up 2 shows a week for 2 years now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Damn, bro. Time flies, man.
That's super crazy. Yeah, 2 years. It seems like it's been way less than that.
Yeah.
It's been going by very quickly.
Yeah.
But it's honestly, there's a lot of manual labor that goes into it, but the outcome is all the gold that we could ask for. Without getting too greedy. Yeah.
A dragon's horde.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, those crowds are phenomenal. The people of South Florida are great.
Nice. And so when you're figuring out kind of these shows and setting them up and breaking them down, when when it comes to the equipment in a room,
Mhm.
like I know Savage Labs had like really good sound because they would do like music right
correct.
there too. So I knew their sound system was always like really good, but like I know the equipment in a space is so crucial. What are like some non-negotiables for you when you're setting up a space? You're like, no, you need to have this capability.
I'm sure, and I know this because of Dean, and doing Don't Tells, and how like you know, by the book he is. But it's, you know, lighting is really important because half of comedy is sometimes how stupid your face looks when it's doing comedy. And if the lighting is off, you know, you're missing a percentage, like the audience is missing a percentage of the bit, of the set, of the humor of it all. And it's when we're testing lighting and sound, I'll test the sound and he'll go around. And when we're testing lighting, we do Dean because he's a brown boy and we need to be able to see his face in some of those random fucking rooms.
Yeah.
But also, like, you know, playing with the sound, making sure, like, if you have a super high ceiling, sound does not travel well, because you can have a good sound system, but if the space is just huge, the noise is going to go everywhere, and it's going to reverb, or it's going to be hard for people in the back to hear. So you really got to, like, you know, it's two of us getting every spot in the space and testing out everywhere that the audience sees. But yeah, lighting and sound is crucial. And, like, you know, no foot traffic, no people coming in and out, disturbing or distracting. It's like, it's closed door. Yeah, those are really important.
I think one of the things that I didn't realize about Dean, but you kind of alluded to it now as well, was like how kind of methodical he is about certain, even like which you'll see in the episode, is he's talking about, as a host, a couple of things that he tries to accomplish. And I didn't realize how, again, methodical he is, and like he's got some plans, he's got some ideas of what he wants to kind of, how he's going to measure success, let's say. That's something I never worked that much with him, but now you're someone who has, you know, kind of come from that school of thought, and then you're describing it literally as, well, these are some things I learned from Dean, like, look for these things, you know.
Yeah.
I think it speaks highly of him, it speaks highly of the system you guys have developed, and the ability for it to grow and for it to adapt to things that are going to come, you know.
Right. And this is stuff that I love sharing, because, like, Dean puts on really good shows, and, like, some of the other, you know, like Delfino produces. She's a very prolific producer down here, and
Guest of the show.
She, you know, the times that I've done like her new rooms or something like that, I'll come into the space and she'll see like my perturbed look, like I'm like this looking around, and she goes, just tell me what I should change around or move. And then I'm like, okay, great, let's go. Like, you need to move the spotlight here, like create a space here, make sure the bathroom is not in the front of the stage, so when people are going to tinkle and poo-poo and caca, they're not passing by the comedian. All these different things. I was like, you need to rotate
What
the whole room.
I'm sorry, they do what in the bathroom? I'm sorry.
Caca, pee-pee,
Poo-poo?
shishi, poo-poo.
Gotcha.
A little shishi?
This is clip it.
Chat, go ahead and get in the chat.
Chat GBT, clip it now.
Yeah, and it's like high tides raise all boats. So like if we're all putting on good shows, it's going to raise the kind of demand for them. You know, whether it's a free show in Brickell or a mic in Little Havana, like people want to go because they know that we're working at it. And that's one thing that when Jeffrey Osmus was down here, he did like 2 or 3 shows at Thank You Miami.
Yeah.
And one of the first questions that Dina asked him was like, "What the hell are you doing down here, man?" And he was like, "I heard you guys were working. Like, you're grinding it out. You're putting out shows. You're getting in front of the audiences and behind the mic." Hasn't been back, but you know.
Well, I mean,
it's been like a year and a half.
Yeah.
And he's toured around like I think twice since then.
Hey, at least he came.
Yeah. Yeah. This is it's not a dig on him or anything.
It's a start.
And I think when you start touring around for the first time, you're taking notes on every city. Like, what city is really worth the bite.
Yeah.
And Miami. It's not a dig at Miami. Again, it's one of those things. Is that like that's where you want to be? This is how far you have to get there because this is where we are. So it's not like, oh, you're down there. It's like, no, this is what we have to do to get up.
From where have you performed outside of Miami?
I have.
So where have you performed, and what has been your favorite place?
Thomas LaMountain and I took like a little mini road trip up to like the Tampa Bay area, and we did St. Pete Brewery. The producers out there, it's a bunch of boys, and they are awesome. Cool. They're great. Bob Holden and Dan Banks, who's now opening for Jordan Lepson. What's her name? She's on that podcast with Ian Finance. Jordan Jensen. He's her opener. And they're cooking out there. So we did a show there, and then I recently did a Don't Tell in New York City, like in Manhattan. Oh, cool. And that was what a dream. Nice. That was great.
Nice. Bro. Where was that?
Man, it was somewhere in like
not necessarily the specific place, but like what was the venue? You know what I mean?
It was like a cafe above a grocery store.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And the way they do things out there is also totally different. Because the landscape is totally different. So, like we carry around, between Dean and I, we carry around 100 chairs, and like the producers there are like, we can't carry 100 chairs on the subway. Right. Like there's no way we can do that.
So how do they get it done?
They just try and find places that already have
chairs.
So like that's their hurdle.
That's their
limitation.
Yeah.
It was just really cool to see how similar and how different things are over there, but also like the crowds are different there too. Like I didn't get a laugh for like maybe the first 30 seconds. And,
oh wow.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm not saying like I'm a great comedian, but I usually get after 30 seconds I'm like panicking if I don't get a laugh. But they really make you work for it up there. But the producer ended up giving me like 2 extra minutes on the clock because I was cooking towards the end. And they're great. New York is great. I mean, I do comedy in a porta potty in Oklahoma. Right. If that, if it didn't cost me nothing. So, it was great.
Nice.
You were talking earlier about doing it for all the gold, and immediately I thought of a dragon's hoard. Speaking of dragon's hoards, we're both fully grown adult males.
I pay taxes and bills. Yeah,
that enjoy kids games
so much.
You guys actually turned that into a show. You and Mr. LaMountain. Tell us a little bit about Dunces and Dragons.
So we do a show. Initially, it was our DM, our dungeon master, DJ Magazoo, who
DJ Mag.
Yeah, it's DJ the DM. And I kept on bringing up the idea. I was like, these games, we have a Sunday night game with like a few like improvisers and like another comedian, but it's myself, DJ Magazoo, Thomas LaMountain, Michael Cunnill, who's also a local comedian, and Melissa Ezel, who's a local improviser. And I was like, I love Harmon Quest. It's such a funny, stupid show. And like I think that we are funny enough on stage and funny, like with improv, to be able to do something like this on stage. So we have like a Dunces. We call it Dunces and Dragons because we're kind of stupid. And off a play of Dungeons and Dragons. But we started in November with a live show at Villain Theater, who let us do a show there. And I think we've done a live show once a month, and we have 3 live streams at Jolt Radio under our belt too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's a really cool.
Like outside of the ones you did there. Oh,
yeah, man. We have like one shots. So like one shots, like it's not like a huge campaign.
Right.
It's just like even if we all die at the end, it's just it's the end of that episode.
Right.
Well, because I wanted to ask, one of the questions I had was mechanically. So, but before I get to that, so tell me a little bit more about these 3 Jolt. So what was that like? You guys just went in the studio and did it?
Yeah. So through TPK Miami, which is it's Total Player Kill Miami, which is like a D&D term. It's a group that is actually run by Connie Fernandez and her partner James. But it's basically a nerd community of tabletop players.
Yeah.
So they do like Magic the Gathering, Dungeons and Dragons, Call of Cthulhu, all these like, you know.
Yeah, I'm just discovering right now that I'm not nerdy enough to hang out with my nerdiest friends. All my nerdiest friends have secretly been meeting behind my back. Apparently, I'm not nerdy enough. What's going on? What? Continue. I'm sorry.
You just gotta hop in, man.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I'm finding out about this on the show.
He's doing the hair like that now.
You shut up, Julian.
He's trying to fit in.
And we just kind of like tapped into their network. And they are some of the nicest people. Like I haven't played Dungeons and Dragons since I was like in 3rd grade. It's the same with theater and improv and like I haven't done anything since elementary school. But I was always interested in it. I always loved it when I did it. And through most of my life, I've just been like afraid of like not only what people would say, but like what people within the community would say if I tried to learn something. And this TPK community they've just been like, oh, like if you don't know something, like just ask.
Yeah.
We're happy to tell you. We're happy to teach you like how the mechanics work and like some of the spells. Because like the lore could go on forever, but like the fun is learning all of it.
Right.
Because I've only been doing this for a year. I'm not a good D&D player. I'm a good improviser.
Right. And so it's been fun to do. I mean,
it's been so fun. Because like I've been like 5 twisted teas deep on stage as a drunken half-elf private detective wizard for 2 hours every month, and it's like the crowd is rowdy. We have them throw fuzzy dice on stage when people roll for advantage. There's costume contests. I had someone dressed as my character.
Nice.
They didn't win, so I disowned them. I'm kidding. She was great. But it's just a silly, stupid time.
So again, I'm gonna check out the link. I gotta see this footage. Because I think one of the things I talk about with him all the time is I think it's such a great opportunity to get really good content. You know, and you guys. And you can go off the deep end because you can be in character saying things that you would never say yourself,
right?
But in that content online makes sense.
Yes,
you know?
Art. Yes.
So how
cooking
format wise, like how long does Dunces and Dragons when you guys do it at Villain? How long is that like of a show? Is it 90 minutes?
That is the goal. We're getting tighter. We in the comedy because it's 3 comedians, 2 improvisers. You know, myself, LaMountain, and Kunil. We have been a part of or produced shows ourselves, so we're a little ahead of the curb. So we're better with timing, we're better with communication,
right?
And DJ, who this is his first production, so on the fly he's learning new things all the time. And this is also it's not stand up either, so we're also learning new things. But the goal is to get it at an hour and a half, and we've done 5 shows. We've gotten it tighter and tighter and tighter each time.
Nice.
We're getting good at trimming the fat of knowing when to because people are asking like, oh, like there's no way that these are unscripted. And it's like, you don't believe that I'm that stupid? Like, believe it.
But that's I remember during the pandemic and Brandon Lee Mulligan and Dimension 20 is one of the things that like. When I saw you guys doing this, it gave me an immediate flashback of what they were doing. And I kind of, was the first time I watched it, I'm like, there's no way these guys didn't script it. But then when you watch enough of it, you realize that it's like, no, those are the golden moments.
Right.
Those nuggets like really are brewed from the tension and the pressure of getting these really talented creative people in this absurd situation. And then the diamonds just get squeezed out of it,
I mean, that's kind of like what crowd work is.
Yeah,
like if you're doing good crowd work, those moments only exist in that moment.
Yeah.
And I also think people are like kind of like when they're doom scrolling on social media, they're skipping over stand-up clips. If you're not like a big national touring name, like for the most part they go past it. But if they see you
heckler tries to stab comedian,
right.
then they'll stop. But unless it's something crazy, then.
And this is just like a fun way for us to show our talents and clip stuff because like Villain films all of it. And we have Thomas, our Gen Z editor, who is like making everything TikTok proof.
Nice.
And we get clips from it.
Yeah.
And like Connie Fernandez has done 5 minutes of stand up in her dragon character. That's like a mixture of Fozzie Bear and like Liza Minnelli or something like that. And
it's a bard, right? Is it a bard?
Yeah, she's a bard, a comedy bard
is...
who just operates telling puns.
Yeah.
Nice. They're the best. And we gave her like a 5-minute clip of her doing stand up as a dragon.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, it's different, she's still doing stand up, but she's dressed as a dragon.
As a character.
Yeah. And it's really funny.
So as far as, I mean, you're one of the guys that you've been doing comedy around the same time as we've been doing it. You've always, whether it was a villain, whether it was a Savage Labs, Don't Tell, you are constantly pushing and you are working with basically the highest levels at your level. You know what I mean? Like pushing, for that. What do you see yourself doing in 2025? As far as, we asked a little bit earlier about Don't Tells, if you guys are going to be expanding that, doing more shows per week. I'd love to see that just because I'd love to get on some of these Don't Tells. But specifically around content, do you have any ideas that, I want to see clips of myself, either whether it's on stage doing stand-up or Dunces and Dragons? Is there any content things that you see yourself pushing for in 2025?
I mean, I think definitely more of the Dungeons and Dragons or Dunces and Dragons material. It's so fun. It's easier to clip, I think in terms of that, more of that. I think because I think the peak moment in my career came from Dunces and Dragons, and it's just something that like you do it enough, you trust your instincts, and you're just like, you have 3 funny things loaded at any moment, and you can just fire off whichever seems the best, and it doesn't give away any of your writing,
right?
Which we don't have a lot of at this point.
And that's what specifically for us is like, we're looking for that burnable content that we can get. I would like to ideally be fresh material or fresh content in front of people's faces at least once per day, right? We have the comedy calendar that offers some clips. I'd like to get like one thing I've seen you do in the past is sketches, and you've worked with multiple different people to do skits and sketches.
That I'll say I would love to do that more, but probably not gonna. It's really hard to coordinate the schedules of like 5 broke people.
Yeah. Even paid people. Even if you're paying them, it's super. Like one of the things that we've always struggled with trying to get a bunch of people involved, even growing this show and doing different things, is each person you add multiplies the risk.
Right.
So it just keeps making things harder and harder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's always good to have another set of eyes and ears, but then you're just like, how many sets of eyes and ears are we gonna have here?
Right.
And something you said earlier before we started, which is like, it's hard to find people who care. You got to care first. You know what I mean? Once you care, then you're willing to put in the work to get to the results that are needed.
Right.
But
I mean, caring is, I think it drives everything else. Like I said, maybe the money will come, maybe it won't, but like if that's what you're chasing, like I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You have to have fun while you're doing it. If you're not having fun, like it doesn't translate. You're not watchable. I mean, you only go as far as you limit yourself to. Producing. I know we were talking a little bit about you wanting to produce a kind of like a new show, with a different format. And it's like create the thing. And this is something I've been telling Dean. Dean, he has an incredible photo direction. Like he knows how to set up a shot really well. And he wants to create a short movie, but he's like, he wants like a nice camera for it, and I'm like, just do it, just make it.
That's a similar kind of. I have, I'm very similar in that way. I guess
make the thing that you want to see. If you don't make it, it won't be exactly the way you want to see it. If you wait for someone else to do it, don't fucking complain about it.
And there's compromises.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Yeah. That's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, because that's one of the things. Obviously, you're one of the most agreeable people in the scene. Like everyone wants to work with you. Everyone likes working with you. And I love to see before I got ready to do clips, bam, you were doing clips. You had some skits that you were working with people, and it wasn't that you had to write the whole thing and get everybody together, but you added. I'm pretty sure by being social glue a lot of times.
Sure.
Where people were just willing to work together because they knew you'd be there and you could kind of like have it go a little bit more smoothly. You know what I mean? But I like to see that because you've been pushing yourself. Now you got Don't Tell.
But I mean, I'll say it also pushing. It also took some outside like Danielle Delfina again. I would sit there and be like, oh, like I want to write this sketch, but like, do I have the right camera? Like, am I syncing the sound right? And she was just like, yeah. And she was also, who cares? Just put something out. Put something out that sucks. Let it suck. And then you put something out again. It won't suck as much as the first time, and we'll just keep getting better at it. But you'll never get better at something that you're not trying. Yeah.
Wise words. Wise words. The whole day's been. Dean has some wise words. You got. So before we wrap it up here, so are you gonna get the part for Pablo Escobar, or I'm guessing you're?
I'm hoping to get the part of the police officer that takes Pablo Escobar down.
Nice.
Dude, you're looking the part.
Either way.
Yeah, you're looking the part, dude. It's gonna be
criminal.
Are you doing acting gigs right now? Are you looking for acting?
No, I do.
Because you have the face for radio. I mean,
thank you. My mom's told me that. Polly hooked it up with a like a casting agent who
shout out Polly Bears.
Yeah, she's won 2024's best comic in Miami.
Nice.
Awesome.
Right,
and she's just like a really supportive. And she's someone that also likes getting and giving opportunities. She's great. She hooked it up with Applegate Agency.
Nice.
And I've done many auditions in the last 2 years. Landed 0. But again, you just do it.
Yeah.
One day I'll do it well and I'll get casted for it.
Right.
Yeah. I've been trying to get Polly on the show for a while now, but apparently she has a real job and makes real money and isn't available Mondays at 2 p.m.
She is a manic pixie fairy. She's very difficult to tie down. But yeah, that's good. She's busy.
Yeah.
So
heck yeah, man.
In Spanish and in English.
Yeah.
Before we finish this up, I also quickly wanted to give you a runway and a platform to announce what maybe your next step for Dunces and Dragons is.
I'm so glad that you asked, Sebi. Thank you so much. Yes. So we have 2 months. There are the next 2 months. We're doing our next live show at Villain on the 24th. That's a Thursday, April 24th. And then we're back at Jolt on May 4th, Sunday. So you can stream that on Twitch. But thanks to some of the most lovely people in South Florida, in the comedy scene, have greased the wheels for Dunces and Dragons, that we are tentatively going to be doing a show at the Miami Improv.
Word?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, you sneaky little fuckers.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
My dog. Good shit. My dog.
Good shit, bro. Good shit.
And shout out Sebi Alvarez. Say something so the camera goes to you.
Yeah. No, I think one of the things that was so cool when you came to me about what the possibilities were for that and what it looked like was that when I had spoken to management before you even brought it to our attention, we had talked about live D&D before, and they management, they're not into that, they don't really know about that whole aspect, but we do a lot of varying events. Like we had, for example, a brunch show this weekend at the Improv that was had nothing to do with stand-up. It was all just about a vibe and getting people in there having a great time. And I think this is something that really interested not just the Improv, but I think it's going to really interest anybody out there who has not been involved in D&D before. I think if it's something that you're like curious about, or you're like, man, I don't really know, or like I just want to maybe see it without having to participate, this is the perfect time to come out, enjoy a good evening. You're going to be able to get drinks and food and all that stuff, but also have a really, really cool show. We've talked a little bit about some of the capabilities that the Improv has in terms of like the tech and what we can do. And I think it's going to be a really, really, really fun show.
Yeah, that's so dope. I'm excited, boys. That's cool.
The tech is all there. The stage is there. The food and drink are there. And it's all about, and that's what I love about Dunces, is that your experience level with fantasy games or fantasy could be 0, minimal. If you like just seeing live stupidity, come to the show and you'll pick it up immediately.
Yeah.
It's a mechanism to tell a story. So
Right.
Yeah.
And you're going to be doing a one shot for that night, correct?
Correct.
So anybody who is interested, that is going to be a full story happening just that evening. So there's
Yes.
going to be a beginning, middle, and end. You guys are going to get a completed story. You don't have to have any prior knowledge of who they are or their characters. You don't have to have any post knowledge. You guys are also going to be doing a costume contest, correct?
Yes, I mean, costume contests are a big part of the. I mean, I have like a nerd joke that like D&D is a drag show for nerds. You know, and it's absolutely fun. Like you dress in your character. You can dress as a character from D&D, because there's like a whole wealth of D&D media content. Like Matthew Lillard has his own TV production dedicated to Dungeons and Dragons. Brennan Lee Mulligan sold out Madison Square Garden last month with a Dungeons and Dragons show.
Yeah.
You don't have to know anything about it. It's just a fun, stupid, drunken time. It's interactive. We have a big fuzzy dice. So like if you in Dungeons and Dragons, if you roll for advantage or disadvantage, it means you roll twice. And if it's for disadvantage, you take the worst number. And if it's for advantage, you take the larger number. So anytime we roll for those things, we have someone from the audience come out. And you know, the stage at Villain is a little smaller, but the stage at the Improv can fit shit ton of people,
Right.
Even though it would only be like one person, and then they would roll our big fuzzy dice for us, and yeah, we would take their roll if it's better than the roll we have. It's just
Interactive.
stupid.
So-
You dress up, we'll be dressed up in character, and yeah. So if you want like a taste of how those things go, definitely check out Dunces Dragons through at Instagram. There's a few clips. We got one of myself and Connie. And Connie's so much fun up there. But yeah, we're very excited to come to the Improv and show them what we can do and the kind of like fun we can have. Like nerd culture, nobody cares anymore. Like, everyone's a nerd and
Now
proud.
it's mainstream, exactly.
Yeah. You got Stranger Things. You got Dimension 20, Critical Role. All these different things that, you know, express some free will, have a good time, get some drinks, get some chicken tendies.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, we're hoping for May or June, but stay tuned.
Yeah, and obviously Comedy Calendar and Comedy SoFlo Insider fans will have an update on that show. The minute that it gets booked, you will be able to see those clips on our social media. So definitely not only follow Tom, as you saw his handles there earlier in the show, Tom at Tomfoolery on Instagram. Follow me in Art and Comedy Calendar, because you will be seeing when that information is available, you'll be seeing it go live right away on there.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
you guys
man.
look at your beautiful souls.
You're the man. Tom.
No, dude, it was really great having you on, dude. It was a lot of fun. I think you know, you have a very interesting cross section of your comedy, because you are you know, you do your stand up and it's really good, but you also have your Dunces and Dragons, which is such a unique and fun show that is like is something that no one is really doing. We were talking about this earlier, that like nobody in South Florida or in like the state of Florida is doing
looked around. There's
live Dungeons and Dragons right now. So something that unique, I think, is going to just do so well, and I'm glad that you know, the Improv is the venue that's going to be able to like provide that space for these people to come out and enjoy shows. You know.
Yeah. And then the other exciting thing about Dunces and Dragons is like, you know, it goes through like a filtering process of like, you know, the DM has to approve and all that, but like, you know, the comedians in the group are like, we know exactly who we want to be guests on this show. Like people that like just like are not used to that kind of format, I think will be really fun, because also they represent the person that knows absolutely nothing in the audience, you know. And we're excited to showcase other comedians, other actors, improvisers, because it's not stand-up comedy.
Right.
It's everything. It's comedy. And so, you know, we're still getting our legs, but we're so excited to like bring on everyone that we can to be guest spots for the show, and I think that's one of the most.
I would tell you,
fun.
I can't wait till you guys invite Sebi. I mean, I want to be on there as well, but dude, you gotta have Sebi.
Oh yeah.
That show is gonna be great. You guys will be I love improvised stuff like that. I've seen some of the clips of what you guys do there. I haven't been able to make it to one of the shows yet.
It's during the week.
You guys are working already with Villain, one of the best. Connie, who was, as far as D&D, she's the one that taught me most of what I know about D&D. Her and Trevor were the two people that kind of taught me the most.
Sick.
So you're already putting together the best people to do this, man. So
yeah, and that's what it's about. Is like putting on the best show. You know, because like we're all audience members too. Yeah, and we want to see the best show.
Yeah, like being friends will make them come the first time, and then if they have a good time, that will make them come back again. Yeah, you know what I mean, that will make them tell other people to come. That will be, hey, come check out my friend's thing. It's really dope.
And it's like it's a hang. Like that's all I want to do. Is like I want to hang out with everyone. Yeah. You know, and I want everyone to have a good time. And I'm just trying to create that.
Hey man, before we let go, can we all just show our chest hairs again one more time, just for the people at home, in case everybody wants to. Go ahead, Ray. Go ahead and just pan to each one of us. So just for the ladies at home.
Stay off, Rachel.
Damn.
Good job. All right, go ahead and send us home now.
All right, guys. That has been this episode of SoFlo Comedy Insiders, guys. Thank you, Tom. Fantastic interview, dude. You're the best. Until next week. Thank you, bro. Until next week, guys. Remember, stay tuned and stay laughing.